Hey, actually, follow up from last week. We were talking about ketchup on eggs. Somebody chimed in and said, it's been a long held belief of mine that there is no food in existence that ketchup is the optimal condiment for. You can come at me with whatever you want, but this is a hill that I'm prepared to die on.
Exciting.
I think
No,
that's a pretty accurate statement.
I'm going to say eggs. I will say eggs is the optimal thing. An egg, which again, I guess I'm going to take a lightly different stance from you, is that the egg is a perfect food that doesn't taste perfect. That's the problem. It gives you all those healthy omegas. It gives you all kinds of stuff. You should eat eggs. Eat your eggs, right? And I know it goes up and down with, well, cholesterol or not, or eat the whites or eat the yellows or whatever. But let's just say we got bananas and we got eggs as the world's perfect foods, right?
Strawberry.
I'm going to say strawberry is a niche, is not a strawberry doesn't fill you up. Like part of being a perfect food, nobody's ever going to just get full on strawberries. You eat one banana, you're sated. You
Yeah.
eat an egg or two, you're good, right? Part of being a perfect food is ticking all these nutritional boxes and you get full. Bananas don't taste good. That's why you take them to Sunrise Shacks and mix them with peanut butter. I mean, not the bananas don't taste good. Bananas are just benign. Eggs are a little less than benign. Eggs aren't that great.
Here's the thing. Optimal condiment for an egg is salsa.
Mm, if you're in a salsita mood, and I'm down with a little chilaquile and I don't put ketchup on my eggs when they're on my chilaquiles, of course. That is salsa. But that you can't go do Mexican eggs everywhere. Sometimes you
But
need a ketchup egg.
but the point is there's no food that ketchup is the optimum condiment for. And
I'm
I
going to
would
say it's even
agree.
better. Ketchup is better than salsa on eggs.
Wow. Well, another listener chimed in and he said Worcester sauce on eggs is insanely good, which
Gonna
I've
try
never
it.
had, but I'm
Gonna try it.
curious.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So we can revisit this. Obviously, things come back over and over. Okay. Listener call for the first barrel or not this week. Sharing it with you now.
Chris calling in from Jersey for the grit. Keeping in line with your Curb Your Enthusiasm, Seinfeld level of overanalyzing mundane life events, I think I have a good barrel or not for you. Barrel or not, referring to your significant other, husband, your wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, as your partner. I don't know when this made the jump over to just the proper way to refer to your significant other, but I've noticed it a lot more in the last few months here. When I think about it, my mind usually goes to these folks might be gay, and that's their preferred way of referring to each other. But I've noticed it a lot more just in everyday life of like folks that are married referring to each other as their partners. And Chaz, since you're the wordsmith, maybe you can shed a little bit of light of like when did this happen? When did it make the jump over to just mainstream language? Keep work.
He's totally right. I've
I
noticed this
love it.
happen too, and I haven't really analyzed it until now.
I absolutely love it. I have analyzed it. And to answer his last question first, when did this happen? Tell you, people with their language are, I'm not going to say idiots, but people, when certain language comes in and it starts swelling, people will just start using it. And I'll be looking around at people, and this is not just for the word partner, but when any new word is all of a sudden getting overused, and I'll be like, isn't everybody aware that you were not using this word
Right.
like, you know,
Gaslighting.
exactly. Nobody was using this word, and now you're using it like multiple times a day, right? Or even let's say with what was the soccer show that everybody loved? The
Welcome to Wrexham.
No, that one too, but the one with the actor in it and the actress, the Jason Sudeikis one.
Oh, yeah, Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso. So Ted Lasso in there says, you know, like I don't appreciate that, or I don't appreciate it's I appreciate you, right? Nobody said appreciate you before Ted Lasso. Now I hear appreciate you all the time. And I'm thinking, are you not aware that you heard a TV show, you heard something on there, you heard it enough, and now you're using it? Like, that's weird, man. You are like caught up in like a very unconscious trend that you're speaking out of your mouth. Not
Yeah.
cool. I think partner is one of these things. Partner became uh the thing to say because it's just like, so I married my best friend, right? I hate that too. You did not marry your best friend. These are categories. Partner is a category of person in your life. Usually that comes with a noun in front of it. That noun is business. This is your business partner. You run business together. uh this is not a relationship. I mean, partner is a relationship, a business relationship. Do not ever call your loved one your partner. Your wife is your wife. Your friends are your friends. Your business partner is your business partner. When you're gay and you're coupling, this is where everything got screwed up because they started just borrowing words willy nilly and then became cool. So partner, that works. We're partners. Da, 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 da. And then that goes. Everybody wants to be gay now, so that just goes broad, right? Partner,
Life
partner, partner.
partners.
Yeah, life partner. That's like a better description because you're more than my wife. No, be satisfied. You have the word wife. You have the word husband. That's that. That's done. Keep that way. That is not your partner. Your wife or your girlfriend is not your partner. She is your wife or girlfriend. There's a word for that.
So I think, um, so you're advocating we break it all down,
It's just
break down the partner usage, like
there's
go
no
against the grain and don't use partner.
no. The only
Okay.
place partner, you and I are podcast partners.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
That's specific.
you have to put a qualifier in front of it and to
Yes.
define what it is. So I
What kind
agree
of
with
partner
you.
are you?
I agree with you entirely. I did get duped into using partner as kind of the default in recent years because I thought that it would
It
be
elevated the
less.
wife.
No, it wasn't for I don't use it necessarily, but when I'm referring to other people and I don't know exactly how they prefer to be, uh, referred to, then I just use partner as the default, knowing that it will be the less offensive of anything. Because I think you're right. It started with gay couples, not, maybe a adult male not wanting to refer to his adult male partner as being,
His
this is my
boyfriend.
husband or
Or this is my husband.
boyfriend or
I hear
whatever.
you, but it was
So, but I think it
onus was
got
on them.
murky. It also got murky with adults in general. Like if you're 45 years old, referring to this is my girlfriend, it sounds weird. And they're not your wife. And so you just say, this is my partner, and maybe they're not your fiance, and that's a sensitive subject. So then you just say partner because girlfriend sounds weird at that age.
I totally agree. You're exactly right. This is specifically and precisely where it came from on both sides, right? If you are 45, I mean, that's why I forced wife to marry me after 3 weeks of knowing her, is because I was like, we can't date. I'm way too old to be your boyfriend. And so it's marriage or nothing, man. It's like we're getting married or we're breaking up. Both of us had been divorced before. What's another ex, right? Like, and at least then you're something. You are, this is my husband. Now he's my ex husband. This is my wife. Now he's my ex wife. Uh, if you are embarrassed, if you're in a situation where you're 45, 50, can't say boyfriend, girlfriend, uh, that's on you, man. Like, I'm sorry, like you are making decisions. You've got to say, this is my girlfriend or my boyfriend, and you are being a little baby. So just own that little babiness every day. A. B, with the partner thing, uh, our dear gay friends, it was on you to invent a new word. You made this mainstream. You made a like the gay relationship mainstream, which is great. Bravo. Well done. You did the work. You didn't finish the work. You didn't apply a name to what a gay husband or gay wife is called. You
Mm-hmm.
had one more step to do. And like right when it's like, you know, what, we bought a house together and woo, and then you went and partied because you bought a house, but you forgot to sign the mortgage papers. Like the job isn't done. Job isn't over.
But forgot to put furniture in.
Yeah, you need to define it. You need to define what you are. And so I gladly go around and say, this is such and such wife. And then force other people to correct you in public and say, oh, actually, or just like stew on it poorly or whatever. There is definitions for things. If you are presenting as something and you're not that, then you tell me what you are. You tell me what you want to be called, not partner. It's not
Well,
generic.
the two additional thoughts I have is that by referring to them as partner, it leaves a lot of questions. I immediately think, oh, so you guys aren't married?
Yeah,
Like, oh, you have a kid together and you refer to as your partner. So does that mean they're not married? I'm wondering. And it's not that I'm judging, I'm just
of
curious
course
now.
not.
Like I have a
This is a
bunch of
judgment-free
questions.
zone here. All of this is
Exactly.
judgment-free.
So the other thing that I will say is that in relation to your business partner thing, it takes away the sexuality if I refer to Lauren as my partner. Like
Completely. We
I
work
want,
together.
I specifically want to define her as my wife so as to define her as having a very specific and unique relationship with me that nobody else on the planet has, and me with her. Her
Yes.
with, you know what I mean? And so referring to her as a partner really sanitizes the dynamic of our relationship, and it also makes it less unique. It makes it similar to, I do have Chaz as a partner too. He's a podcast partner, and then I have
Yep.
somebody else as a business partner.
Yep.
And so she's one of many partners in my life. No, she's not. She's my wife,
And words do have power. We know this. Sticks and stones do break bones. They speak, like, words have power. And so if you call your significant other, your partner, to David Lee's specific point, what will happen is your relationship will then start resembling the partner relationship, which is businessy. And
Transactional.
it's a transactional thing.
Yep.
Exactly. It is.
Sex is going away.
You're doing, unless you want to start calling your wife your hooker, then you can make it sexy and transactional.
You know what? I'm gonna start referring to her as my ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, I mean, totally.
She
There's
used to be.
completely. There's all, and how amazing would that be at a party? Yeah, this is Austin, our boy, is my ex-girlfriend, Lauren. It would be so good.
People, they'd have so many questions. They'd be like, "Oh, wow, you guys get along really well." Yeah, of course we do. She's my wife. Oh, what? Wait, what? Yeah, she used to be my girlfriend. Now she's my wife.
I'm totally gonna borrow this too. But that's what, like, words are also fun to flatten everything too. I'm too confused by everything. Let's just call everyone partner. What
Yeah,
gives, yeah, like, variety is the spice of life, man. And so
exactly.
figure out what you, if you are, dear listener, if you are one of these, and I know there's a ton of you out there who have fallen into the partner trap. You didn't mean to, you're just there.
Yeah,
You sit with yourself right now, get together with your air quote partner and decide what you want to call each other. It could be anything. You could say,
sure.
this is my contractor. This is my, I mean, there's all kinds of words out there. Pick one.
Yep, I like it. Okay, Barrel and Awe, which actually follows that one pretty nicely. Kids after 40, Barrel or Nah. David and Chaz, love the show. I think the average age of fatherhood in the US is like 30 to 31. I've recently noticed that surfers tend to have children much later. I've noticed this anecdotally, but even in surf media, Devin Howard, Kelly, I like turtles. And of course, David Lee Scales come to mind with the newish fathers above the age of 31. As Hank Warner mentioned in his recent Surf Splendor interview, he had kids pretty late in life. There are some obvious reasons this might be. People in affluent coastal areas tend to have kids later. Surfers want to travel slash surf into their 20s and 30s. There are, of course, counterexamples, Torrin Martin, Chloe Andino, etc. But what I'm wondering is whether you think, number one, surfers tend to have kids later in life, and number two, why? And number three, is it Barrel? And number four, what is the optimal age to drop into fatherhood? Maybe a different segment. Keep work, Val Kilmer.
Fantastic, Val. Thank you so much. Can answer all these here with individual barrels and NAS. And I'm going to say over 40 is totally fine. I'm going to say our dear, wonderful icon Kelly Slater waited too long. I think if you're over 50, then it's like, it's whatever. I'm not going to really judge, but also I'm going to judge. And over 50 is too long. When you're 60, when you're stinking Robert De Niro having babies at 80 or whatever, like, that's just silly at that point. I mean, what are you doing? Unless you're just wanting to spread your De Niro seed, have at it. But over 50 is too long. But I'm going to say the optimal window is 18 to 44.
I'm going to say 18 is too young. And Kelly Slater at 51 is the equivalent of you and I at 38. And
Mm,
so he kind of defies any normal stats. But I think I'm comfortable having kids at the age that we had them at, which was like 41, 42. Um, because there's nothing else I want to do. Like
yeah.
if I would have had kids at 34, 35, there would have been this slight percentage of me that was like, man, still want to go to a nice dinner. I still want to go somewhere in the world, travel in the world that I now have to wait 5 or 6 years to go do because of the kid. At this, by the time we had a kid, I was like, I don't need to have another fancy meal in my life unless it's to introduce Austin to it. I don't need to travel to Italy one more time unless it's to showcase it to Austin. Like, in fact, if I went again, I would feel a little self indulgent. I would feel a lot, frivolous, basically, is how I would feel. All of that only has meaning if I can now share it with another human being. And so I feel like it was the optimal time for us. And the flip side is if we had waited another 5 or 6 years, the physicality required to be a father, to get off the couch at the end of the day and go play with him when he wants to go play, might not be there. So it's a narrow window.
And I mean, I feel that the problem with Kelly, 50-year-old Kelly, he's going to be grouchy. Like, yes, he can be as fit as us. You just get grouchy. Like there, and Kelly, I feel, is already probably borderline grouchy to begin with. He is going to be grouchy. There's going to be stuff that his young boy does that's just going to get on his nerves, and his patience is going to be pretty thin from the get, I feel.
Yeah.
Which that's why I think more than whatever, like you got to be able to maximize both your attention span and your patience, like which makes, I think, an ideal parent, right? When you have a real long attention span and also like, loads of patience. And so whenever you have those things in abundant supply, I say it could be anywhere again, 18. Have out, man, travel like I know some good friends who have had kids at 18 and now their kids are 18 and having kids at 18.
It's always
And
weird.
yeah, it's weird, but they're all like they're all like a pod, and I'm like, yeah, it's all you guys are all buddies. Like that's kind of cool.
Well, the other thing that we need to factor in here is that people live a lot longer now, and they will continue to because science and technology is moving at such a fast pace. And so, you know,
I
people
haven't
had
seen
kids
it.
in their 20s because they died in their 60s and 70s. And now, if you're going to live to your 80s and 90s, then you can have kids in your 30s and 40s.
I still haven't seen the technology of grouch moving up though. I still see like mid to late 40-year-olds start to get grouchy. Of course, they're going to live till 110. They're just going to be grouchy for a lot longer. Like
Mm,
somebody, I mean, I guess maybe that's what the pharmaceutical companies would say drugs are for. Yeah, of course, you're going to be grouchy, but so guess what we have? Popping, we have a new antidepressant for you.
yeah. Well, look, I can only speak for myself, and I feel like I do not regret my timeline. And so I'm okay advocating for that. Final barrel or not, waxing your feet. The person who sent it in said, I think it was Andy Irons' interview or some secondhand knowledge attributed to what I found online, but I remember him talking about waxing his feet before surfing.
We've talked about this before on the show, and I never understood what it was. And my understanding might have been from a listener on this very show who said this is why, which is you rub your bottom of your foot on the top of your other foot, and now you have wax in your feet. And I'm all for waxing top of your foot. If you are, there's two criteria that must be met. You have to be able to stick in air reverse and the water has to be over 82 degrees Fahrenheit.
So I remember, I agree with you. Those are great addendums to the rule. I remember Shea Lopez is who I heard talking about this, and it was specifically when he was surfing lowers. And because when you walk on those cobbles that have moss, some of that moss slipperiness sticks to the bottom of your foot, and then you end up in the water paddling out for your heat, and you slip off on your first wave. So what he would do is wax the top of his feet, like you said, step on the moss, and then when he gets into the water, rub the moss off or rub the wax on the bottom of the foot with the top of the other foot, like a little grasshopper would or a cricket. But my solution to that is wax in your pocket. Like you can kind of brush your feet off and then wax your board again if you need to, or if you get a little slime on the top of your board. So I think there's a way to do it without putting wax on your feet.
But again, also, I like if you're out at Lower Trestles, over the mossy cobbled stone or the other breaks in the world like that you got a mossy walk out, unless you're going out in a heat, throwing air reverses, like
Agreed.
that moss will come off after, sure, you might have a slippery-ish first wave, but your next one will be fine.
Also, I feel like even the waxing of the feet isn't a perfect solution. You know what I mean? Like
You've
you're
noticed that
not,
people have stopped. I haven't seen
yeah,
a
that's
pro
true.
like you used to see during a CT contest before they would paddle out, them waxing the top of their feet. I have not seen that in a year.
I really don't think it's an effective method to actually solve the problem that they're trying to solve. I think wax in your pocket might be just as effective and uh, more effective, in fact.